Well, why don't you tell me two numbers that multiply to get 0? Easy question. Give me two numbers that when you multiply them, you get 0. Give me two numbers. I never said anything. 2 times 0. Give me another pair. 4 times 0. Give me another pair. 10 times 0. What do you notice about one of the numbers we're always multiplying? It's 0 to get an answer of 0. So what if I said this? What number goes here? 0. Really? 4. Right? Because 4 minus 4 is 0. Okay. Negative 2 or positive 4. Either of those will work, right? Congratulations, you've learned how to solve a quadratic equation. So, how do we solve these things? Well, we set them equal to 0, we factor them, and then we figure out what makes each factor 0, which is basically what we just did to start this. That was called the zero product property. So if the product of any two numbers is 0, then one of the numbers must be 0. Okay? To put that in fancy math notation, if I have two numbers, A and B, and I multiply them and it's going to equal 0, well, then A has to equal 0, or B has to equal 0. It could be both 0. That'll work. Okay? So that last question I gave you when we first started this thing, that was an expression that was in factored form. So how do we solve equations that look like this? Okay. Well, factor the expression. Set each factor equal to 0. And find each missing number. Or value of x. These will be your answers. These will be your solutions. Or what was that we're going to use? That means solutions. No, talked about it when we first started talking about these things. Roots. Not to be confused with square roots or cube roots. Okay. So remember, it has to be in the form you got to have everything on one side and 0 on the other. Like it. So now we factor. How would you factor this? What type of factoring? It's not a trinomial. It's not a trinomial, so that takes out 2 of them. It's not a difference of squares. GCF. What can I take out of each of these? What's left after I divide each by x?
X plus 7.
X plus 7. So now we use that 0 product property. Either this has to be 0 or this has to be 0, right? What value of x would make this 0? Easy question. It's not a trick question. Stop it. 0. What value of x would make this 0? You heard a little rumbling. Nothing. -7. There's your 2 answers. That's it. You solved it. And you see, if you put 0 in here, 0 squared plus 7 times 0 is 0. -7 squared is 49. 7 times -7 is -49. That's 0. Those are our 2 answers. Here, factor. Well, it's a trinomial. You guys should be good with these. What's this in factored form? X -3 -3. So they're both going to be the same. So I don't have to solve both of them, only one. What value of x makes that 0? +3. So our answer is 3. Done. I don't have to do this one because it's the same number. Try the next one. You guys should be able to do the next one. Because it's very similar to the one we just did. Good thing I wasn't recording that. Nobody got 14 -1? No? Okay. How about 7 and -2? Yeah? But you didn't. Anybody get -7 and 2? Uh-oh. Looks like we have a dilemma. If I factor this, I get x plus 7 times x minus 2, right?
Oh, that's what I meant. I was looking at what I put there, not.
So what value of x makes this 0? -7.
It's weird.
Yeah, you guys knew.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys knew. Okay, next one. This is that different type of factoring, right? What do the first 2 terms have to be? 2x and x. I know I've got to have 5 and 1, and one of them's negative, and the other's positive to get -5. Question is, how do I put them in so that the middle works? Well, if I tried -5 and +1, I get -5x and +2x, which is a completely different number than this. So I need to definitely switch the numbers. So 1 and 5. But then this gives me +10x minus 1x, which is +9x. But I need -9x. So I need to switch the signs. And that should work. Okay, this one should be pretty obvious. What value of x makes that 0? 5. This one, maybe not so obvious. So here's what you do. Remember, I'm trying to figure out what value of x makes 2x plus 1 equals 0, right? So solve for x. Subtract 1 from both sides. Divide both sides by 2. and you get negative a half. Notice the answers are always the opposite signs to what's factored. So like if it's +7, the answer is -7. If it's -2, the answer is +2. I mean, like if you think about this, there's a number in front, the answer is going to be -1 divided 2. If you had one that looked like this, the answer would be +2 divided 3. Or you can do it this way, that's fine too. This one I want you to try. This is one of the ones where it's an ax squared trinomial. What's the factor form? 5x minus 1, x minus 3, good. Set each factor equal to 0 and solve. X is 1 over 5, and x is 3, +3. Good. Right? What's different about this one? Yeah, I gotta bring this over here. I can't factor until I have everything together. So I have to add 28 to both sides, so I get x squared plus 11x plus 28 equals 0. Now I can go do my factoring. And then solve from there. And remember, this type of question, you're not done after you factor. Many students will make that mistake because they're so used to just factoring it and stopping. Okay, remember, this factoring is just halfway there. You still have to solve them after. And by the way, what are the factors? X plus 7, x plus 4 equals 0. Okay, make sure you put that equals 0. If you just write these two, that's a communication error. Guarantee some of you will make that on the next test. Okay, because everybody usually does. There's usually a handful that do. Yeah, you can shake your head all you want. So what are my possible answers? So I could just write it like that if I want to. How about this next one? Any ideas? Okay, so you're going to factor it. And that's fine. What are your two answers? A lot of times when the answer is negative and positive of a number, we can just write it like this. Plus minus 5. So we don't have to write the 5 twice. Okay, now, that's right. Now I want to jump to J. What would you do? So you want to move the 7 over. And if we do that, we get negative 11.
There should be a x.
Should be a what? No, there's no x. It's just x squared minus 11. What's the problem here? Yeah, you guys are used to a difference of squares, these being perfect squares. This is not, right? But remember, didn't we do these in the very first lesson? Where we just
put the x squared by itself and then took the plus minus square root?
That's from 3.1. You could have done the same thing here. You could have moved the minus 25 over to the other side to make it plus 25. And then take the positive negative square root of 25, which is positive negative 5. What I would suggest, like, let's just look at these ones here on this. What's in these two that's not in these two? An x term. That's how you tell what type of factoring. If it doesn't have an x term, do the plus minus square root. If it does have an x term, do the factoring. That's how you can tell. Okay. How about this one? It's got an x squared term and it's got an x term, so that tells me I should be able to solve it by factoring. Any ideas? Sorry? I can't understand what you're saying.
Are we talking about question 5 or 8?
We are talking about h.
Move the x.
Move the x by subtracting. Good. I know it looks, this one is a weird looking one because now you can factor it. What kind of factoring? GCF. So you get x times x minus 1 equals 0. Therefore, what are my two answers? 0 and 1. Good. Couple more. I know there's lots to practice from, but it's new, so I want you guys to have a good handle on it. What should I do here? Yeah, move these things over. So 3x squared, when I move the minus 2x over, it becomes plus 2x. When I move the 8 over, it becomes minus 8. Now I've got one of those a squared trinomials. You know it's going to look like that. Now we're just not sure about the numbers. So -4, +2.
Yeah.
Let's try that. 6x minus 4x does give me plus 2x. So that's correctly factored. So therefore, x can be +4/3 or -2. Done. Good. And the last one of these. Everything's over to one side. So what type of factoring? GCF. So what can I take out? 3x. Well, we can take out 3x, but the only problem with that is, how do we do that? Don't we get -x? Which is what we're not used to. I talked about this a long time ago when we first started back. Hey. When we first started factoring
if the first term is negative, take out a negative. So then when I divide this by this, I get x. 9x divided negative 3x minus 3. What value of x makes this whole thing work out to 0? 0. And this one? Positive 3. We're done.
Okay. And I'm actually going to stop there and finish it on Monday. Because I'd rather you guys practice with this first, just to get used to it. Because we are going to look at word problems with these, and they're different than the word problems we did in the last unit. So I want to take my time with it instead of just rushing through it. So